Howdy my peeps. So a while ago I did a tutorial on how to draw black people, but I didn't actually show anything on like how to draw black people. I just talked in it, so like I'm gonna not do that today and actually show you some examples of what I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's get into it. By the way, I'm just talking about how to color the skin right now, so I'm not worried about facial features or hair right now. It's just how to pick colors for black skin. For the purpose of this tutorial, I used a digital program, but these same tips can be applied to traditional art. And the first thing you're going to want to do is choose colors that are nice, warm browns. And these types of colors, if you're working with a digital program, can be found in the orange section. Not too far into the yellows, not too far into the red. It's okay if you want to make a color slightly warmer or slightly more golden to just move the color wheel just a tad bit to either the red side or the yellow side, but you don't want to go too far, otherwise it will look like these. Now these are desaturated colors. Some of them are leaning more towards the yellows, one of them is leaning more towards the reds, and it's looking like a little dusty pink. It's a nice pink, but it doesn't really work for a skin tone unless the character is in a certain lighting situation. And for the purposes of this video, I'm not talking about lighting or anything, I'm just talking about the true color of the skin. And you know, when these colors are right next to each other, they don't look too bad on this background, but when you see them applied to a person, you see where the problem lies. These people look a little sickly. Arguably, you could say that they need a little lotion, and it doesn't look really natural or appealing, unless it would look better if they were in like a certain lighting situation where it would look fine. But when you're just having just that character there and there's no lighting and that's not your style or anything, it just doesn't look natural, and it looks a little, they look kind of gray, and it just doesn't look the way skin looks naturally in just neutral, normal lighting or whatever. And here are those same people. I just colored them with the other colors, the first colors that I showed you. And as you can see, they look lively. The colors that I use are a lot warmer. They're not desaturated. And there's some warmth in there. I can tell that they're alive. They have blood in their body and they're not dead, which is a good thing. And these colors, I chose them, like I said, from the orange range of the color wheel. If you're working traditionally and you have something like markers, you can just use like a warm brown color. In that last video, I talked briefly about how you might want to avoid bright red lipsticks. Basically, what you want to do is avoid this right here. And like all of these. Do not do any of these things. These things are what they call racist. Don't do that. You basically want to avoid the black face look and like really big, bright, overdrawn red lipstick. Just don't do that. But anyway, when coloring lips, you basically, well, black people basically have a slightly darker top lip. I'm talking in general terms, not everyone has this, but like a slightly darker top lip and a kind of pinkish bottom lip. And here's some reference photos so you can see what I'm talking about. So that's a nice thing to incorporate into your art to make it look a bit more realistic. And another thing is our palms and the bottoms of our feet are slightly lighter than the rest of us, which is a nice little thing that you can incorporate into your art to make it look a bit cooler. I don't do it personally because it's just not a part of my style, but like you could, and I've seen people do it before and it looks really nice. Next I'm going to talk about blush. Black people, if they're darker, tend to not blush because the melanin just does not allow for you to be able to see the blood flowing underneath the skin. But lighter black people do blush. But if you would like to draw a black person blushing for stylistic reasons, a way that you can do this is to get a reddish color that's about the same tone as their skin and use that as the blush color. personally, when I'm doing like Copic marker drawings, I like to use, let me see my chart here, EO7 or EO8 for blush for darker skin tones. And when I'm using watercolors, I just get like a red and just like dab it on the cheeks or something. And for digital art, I feel it's the easiest to add and the easiest to make it subtle. What you can do is on a separate layer, like if you're using SAI, on a separate layer, set the layer to shade and get like a pink and use that as the blush color, and you can adjust the opacity to suit your needs. So that is all, my peeps. If I missed anything, you can put it in the comment section if you have some more tips. But other than that, that is all. Those are all of my tips on how to color skin. It's just the basics of picking the colors, and you can apply pretty much the same techniques that you use to shade other skin tones. For this, like for instance, when I'm shading in SAI, I use like a desaturated blue or purple set to multiply or shade, and I use that as my shade color for all skin colors, and I just adjust it as I need it, so that doesn't really affect it the way I color anyway. So that is, like, forget about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to support me in my art, you can head over to my Ko-fi page, or you can head over to my Threadless shop where you can get prints and stuff, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to, and follow me on Instagram. I said that out of order, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.